Why hello, it's Bumbleberry, and we're back with a Mirlo and Sunlit Dreamers story. What's your name? And we already hung out with Mr. Mermaid Face, so if you want to hang out with him, go ahead. Basically, the premise is the government is being a jerk face. Alright, we're Bumblicious. Ooh, yes, I love it. Bumblicious instead of Bumbleberry. Alright, yes. So we are gonna take a test. So, I don't know, let's play with. I'm gonna see if I can get the twins on purpose. How do you discipline a child? Make them eat broccoli. I don't know. I'll take away their stuff because they're ungrateful brats. What am I willing to spend money on? Bunnies! My tattoo parlor and helping out my siblings with their kids. I will say I will save money. What am I most afraid of? Failing to reach my ambitions. How skillful am I at lying? Oh, jeez. Oh, I didn't realize that our police officer is a dad. That's cool. Let's say there's no lying. Okay, don't reveal your name. That was a big thing. Although I didn't reveal it in the last one, but you guys should watch that if you haven't seen it yet. So, you are not safe until they've given you their name first. Who's my result? Who is this? There's a... A woman lingered in front of the gate, pacing as she chewed her bottom lip. She wasn't expecting a mythical creature to be living in a mansion so grandiose. Grandiose? Then again, considering his race, maybe she should have. Oh shoot, I got the Lampir? Or something? Because it's singular. That's okay, whatever. For a moment, she wondered if this was a mistake. It wasn't as if she were a part of those fandoms worldwide. If anything, she expected to be assigned a completely different creature. She pondered if she should contact the MCIP to be reassigned to another creature more to her liking. I can't believe I named myself Bumblicious. It's just weird to see. I should also berate them for those horrendous questions. It's as if all they had left were a tiny amount of... Oh. She grunted, leaning against the gate as she blew her hair. She blew her hair? It had slipped her mind that not all mythical creatures were registered in the program. Only those interested in having a human companion joined. Like Mr. Mermaid Face. There's the giant bug bus driver who's happily married to another giant bug, and some of my purebred classmates whose parents are both creatures. I shouldn't mention the purebred thing to anyone. Ever. And I did put my application that I wanted one that lived here in the city. Guess I'll give him a chance. Besides, I talked big to my friends to get them off my back. I can't run off like a pansy or I'll never live this down. With a firm nod, she walked to the intercom, pressing the button firmly. It didn't take long for a low baritone voice to flow out. Hello? Ah, my fair chickadee has made for her decision. Come in, my sweet. Is that a good voice for him? We'll find out. Bumblicious held in her flinch as the gates parted, a bit disturbed to hear he was watching her through the cameras. The doors were wide open. A tall man with his arm reached out to her, standing inside. Fast. Come on, my chickadee. As you must know, this body of mine cannot stand the sun's rays. Oh, you have a very speckly house. It's very dark. Bumblicious didn't take his hand, instead taking in her surroundings. The closing doors didn't bother her, the inside remaining brightly lit. Oh, hello, young man. Young man. You're probably 1,000,000 years old. Does my humble abode please you? He remained at her side, simply staring at her expression. Are you sure you don't want a snack? And you really want a girlfriend? Okay, we'll see. There was a distance they kept, a firm wall between them. He may have invited her into his home, but even he wasn't willing to push the boundaries in their first meeting. This meeting would decide whether he wanted her or not. Right now, she couldn't be bothered either way. If you knew I was out there for so long, why not say anything? I could have been a terrible thief pretending to need help or something. A thief, you say? Oh, he's like excited about that. That's right. I'd pretend my car broke down, then wander in front of your gate and look as if I'm troubled. I'd ask to use your phone because mine's broken, dead, or at home to call for a tow truck. Then while your back's turned, I could shoot you, stab you, drug you, so on. You humans and your need for violence. Ugh, let me just hold up my pinky, you're so fancy. He sighed, tilting his head backward as he turned his gaze to a random spot on the ceiling. I guess I was saying all those things because my dad's a cop, and so he told me not to trust people. In earlier centuries, your kind were far more interesting. You saying I'm not interesting, bro? These years, though, you use those ridiculous rocks. No longer do I see the bodies dancing, moving about as adrenaline pulses through them. Blood dribbling down the blades, tantalizing us to have a taste. Whoa! Only the humans are able to hold on, gripping onto that mysterious lifeline as a blade remains plunged into their bodies. You're way too excited about this, bro. He sure likes to talk a lot. Ah, pardon me. Oh my gosh, his face is terrifying there. He looks like a stone statue come to life, doesn't he? I was merely... He slapped the back of his hand against his forehead. The other swung behind him as he flared out his fingers. Reminiscing. Did he just... He remained in the pose, not moving a single centimeter. It was only a few minutes later that he opened his eyes, spotting the woman staring at him blankly. He quickly returned to a more normal pose, waving his hand for her to follow him. Come on this way. It's only proper that I, as your generous host, allow you to relax with my home. Do you mean in your home? Not with your home. It's not living. Come on. Oh my gosh. You have the oldest computer known to man. Just kidding. She was led into his study, spotting a computer in the corner. Curious, she started to walk towards it, only to bump into his chest. He spun her body around, bringing her to a leather chair and plopping her down. Excuse me while I bring you refreshments. Umbilicious quickly turned around, barely able to see him speed out of the room. Her eyes drifted to the computer, noting it was still on. Only the monitor was turned off. Curiosity spiked inside of her. Glancing to the entrance and guessing how long it would take to get drinks, she rushed over to the computer and pressed on the button. Interesting. She turned it back off, languidly returning to the chair. You weren't even going to snoop? You had the opportunity? That's okay. In no time at all, he returned, albeit more slowly. He carefully placed the tray of tea and cookies on the coffee table. She easily saw him glance to the computer, pretending that she didn't notice. As she nibbled on a cookie, her doubts began to bubble. Just from these few minutes, her suspicions of this not working grew. It's one thing that he's a Lampir, but to be subscribed to a fashion website? What kind of guy does that? The cookie tasted a bit too sweet. A bit too sweet for her liking, reaching out for the cup of tea. Carefully, she lifted it off the saucer, lightly blowing. As she sipped, the Lampir had intertwined his fingers, watching her. Is the taste pleasing to you? She nodded, seeing his cup remain untouched, laying still beside his glasses. His glasses. Uh-oh, we better save just in case. The tea turned cold on her tongue. Her hands forced themselves to stay still as she placed the cup back on its saucer. She could still feel his eyes on her. My little chickadee, did you stay in your seat, correct? I will keep my eyes away from yours. The Lampir sighed, shaking his head in shame. I had hoped that you would be the chickadee I'd been searching for. It appears that I was wrong. Oh god, you're gonna eat me! Ah, he stood before her, pupils constricting as his fangs grew. Why are you staring like that? Stop it, it's not funny! Uh-oh. He only stepped closer to her, staying quiet. Dude, you better back off. I mean it. Stay away! Umbilicious curled into her seat, knowing there was no way she could outrun him. Stop creeping me out already and say... Uh-oh. His face reappeared before hers, hands pinning her own away from each other to the chair. Did you believe I wouldn't discover you were lying? That I wouldn't notice you about to press the abort button? I wasn't, he scoffed, shaking his head. At least they provided me a meal. Oh, thank you. My wristband has been returned. Oh good, the pairing was a failure. Once Oh, gosh. So they want another person to go in. Well, fine. Oh, I have to do the quick load. You all stink. I hate you forever. Okay, I'll just say I was a good chickadee. Because that's not technically lying. Ah, it is so relieving to hear. It has been quite some time since I had guests. I wouldn't wish for you to get lost within these halls. I'm not the nosy type. Those sessions with Pops can be pretty useful, I guess. So I guess I have to become really good at lying if I'm going to hang out with this crazy pants. He twirled some of her hair around his finger, humming a bit. I thought my hair was super short. So soft and quite healthy. Bumblicious flinched away, uncomfortable with anyone touching her hair. Enough of that. Flattery will get you nowhere. He placed his glasses back in place. So, my sweet little chickadee, do you have any plans for this evening? Or were you hoping to keep me all to yourself within my mansion? Well, He instantly shushed her. Let me speak! Finger on her lips. I'm sorry, my chickadee, but as much as I would love to fulfill your every need here within my home, it would be too much of a sin to keep this voluptuous body within these walls. We met 5 minutes ago. You can turn down the charm. The sun's still out. He leaned over her, fingers tracing her cheek as he looked into her eyes. Then your caretaker shall remain here as you stay within your cage, catering to your every whim. Oh. What does that even mean? Oh, so we can't go out. Okay, that's fine. Tell me about yourself, then. If we're going to be stuck for the rest of my life, best to find out now if we're a good fit. The Lampir flipped his hair over his shoulder, elegantly sitting across from her. He propped a foot up on his leg, seemingly relaxing against his hand as he stared at her. Of course. It is the whole point of our matchmaking, I suppose. I was so nervous to meet my chickadee that simply telling you the glorious tales of my past slipped my mind. You don't have to go and... Oh, God, he's really an old man. Talking forever. That's okay. I still recall the centuries before I experienced my first natural death. Those years so many fools believed I was a mere werewolf. Ha! The very thought has always tickled me enough to spare their lives. Werewolves are far more barbaric than my kind. It is only expected that humans would fear their kind. You take the form of one, though. Correct, but I retain my mind. I don't fall victim to their berserker trait, the need to slash my claws deep into flesh. Then what did you do as a werewolf if you were so humble and crap? Good point. I mean, why would you transform into one then? I was hoping for far more recent details. Hobbies you enjoy? Places you go once the sun is down? Any possible pet peeves? That sort of thing. Besides, it would be impossible to tell me all of your experiences you've had before I was even born. His pose fumbled, his eyes shrinking at her words. I love this look. He's so aghast. You're right. Oh, how foolish of me. A mere retelling would take far longer than the time that was allotted. Yes, by the time I would be finished, I would be regaling the stories to you, our great, oh my gosh, yes, great-grandson, whatever. Yes, I'm immortal, and I would die before you even get 1/16 of your autobiography complete. The cursed MCIP, only allowing us these few precious milliseconds together. Then why not have the time we do have to properly get to know each other? You have more than a study here in your mansion, don't you? Unless you normally sleep the day away and the rooms are just here collecting dust. Oh, why are you so alarmed every time I say something? His body froze, the minutes ticking by before he would finally rise from his seat. Before she knew it, he swept her off her feet, surroundings blurring until it suddenly stopped. She shrieked as her butt hit the floor. Scrambling to get up, she glared up at the Lampir. Tears were dripping down from his cheeks. Dust everywhere. I'm a complete fool. How many years it has been since I've talked to my maids. Probably ate them. He's crying over dust. Wonderful. This is amazing. Oh, he's hugging his pillar, rubbing his face against it. This is perhaps the most beautiful picture I've ever seen. My precious home, I'm so sorry. Nothing I can say will ever be enough for your forgiveness. I have never meant to neglect you. Don't worry. I, as your fabulous master, will restore you to your wondrous beauty. What? My chickadee, come. We must journey to the supply closet. This dust is unsightly, and I can no longer stand its presence. We're going to spend our date together cleaning your mansion. Obviously. Correct. He appeared before her in a flash, her right hand gently cradled between his, eyes piercing hers. After all, you're the one the MCIP chose for me. You will be living here from tomorrow on, will you not? It'll take more than a day for us to finish cleaning. Her hand slipped from his, the Lampir crossing his arms. As much as it pains me to admit it, you are right. I wish he would hire more maids. That was the other option, it's just super fast. His eyes slid over to her, having a slight twinkle. It is relieving to hear there is a mind behind those willful eyes of yours. Did you think I was one of those stupid airheads? Of course not. It is just with the MCIP, they are more of a popularized blind date agency. Unfortunately, they are also the only one available for us mythical creatures that gives us a chance with you humans. Why do you want a girlfriend? I don't even know. I get what you mean. It's one thing reading traits on paper where people can write bull, and another actually meeting them. The Lampir snapped his fingers, pointing at her. Haha, you truly are suited for me, for we are the same wavelength. Bumblicious only rolled her eyes, smirking a bit. So genius, got another bright idea in there? He thought for only a moment, twirling as he cried out, and stopped with a pose as his hair whipped out around him. Is anyone else thinking of Oron Host Club with the main guy? The prince? Bumblicious slapped her hand over her mouth, barely able to hold in a couple snickers. Of course, why didn't I think of it before? He skipped over to the pillar, hugging it once more. The restoration of our home would be a project, one we can work on together once we marry. Oh, I am a genius. Restoration? He nodded, flicking his hair as he catwalked back to her. As marvelous as my abode is, its current state is unsuitable for a lady such as yourself. My chickadee deserves only the finest of cages. Cages? Oh, this is a nightmare. You've said cage twice now. Wouldn't this mansion be more like an aviary? His eyes twinkled, fingers dancing across her skin, hand gently clasping her shoulder. Does my chickadee wish to fly? Bumblelicious's skin tingled, pushing down the blush. She couldn't let her guard down. Despite his human-like appearance, he was still a mythical creature. And all of them were dangerous, even the fairies and elves that children love so much. She will never admit it to anyone that she was once an elf-loving children herself. I'm not going to stay stuffed up in here if I choose to marry you. He chuckled, taking a few strands of Bumblelicious's hair and lightly kissed them. If that is what my chickadee wishes. Since we're not going to clean and we can't go out, how do you want to spend the date together? We can't sit in the study for tea time and nothing else. We can't reschedule either. We could always. Oh my gosh, you are so embarrassing. He threw one hand to the ceiling, the other point down as he shifted his hip somewhat awkwardly. Do the tango on my ballroom ceiling. Oh my gosh. Dracula dead and loving it. Yeah, no. I'd die. Or should I say, yeah, no. I'd die. Oh yes. The blood would go to your fragile human brain. And even attempting to dance with you in the air would only result in broken bones. Finally, he's using his brain. We can always just dance normally on the floor. The Lampir froze for a moment, a grin growing on his face. Within seconds, he lifted her into his arms, the world blurring by again. Bumblicious had to hold on to him when he suddenly stopped, a bit lightheaded. I better save. Just in case. Welcome, my chickadee, to my ballroom. Bumblicious fluttered her eyes, regaining her sense. Slowly, she released her grip, eyes skimming around the spacious room. It's all right, I guess. What? I know. Shocked. His mouth flapped for a bit, speechless. Bumblelicious simply looked around, no gaze of wonder or awe. Plenty of room for us to dance in, but I don't see any speakers. I understand that you're kind of keeping up with this modern world, yet it's things like this that show you're still old-fashioned. Old-fashioned, you say? The furniture I've seen so far is gaudy. The carpets don't match with the decor. Your desktop in the study is on its last legs. The Lampir couldn't find it in himself to think of a proper response. I'm sure he's like, how dare you call me old? I'm only 1,000. And the ballroom is in a similar state to the last room we were in. There's cobwebs covering up the mural on the ceiling, and lighting is dim, probably because some of the light bulbs are dead. And the floor looks grimy. With the curtains blocking the windows, I feel more like I'm in a haunted house. A haunted house, you say? Bumblelicious pondered for a moment, walking around the ballroom as she examined its filth. Probably shouldn't be too insulting of his house, though. If I didn't know better, I would have guessed you did this on purpose. But with how you've been levitating off the floor this whole time. Are you germaphobe? He acted as if she'd slapped him, freezing in place. His eyes remained unmoving, not even breathing, not wanting to wait. Who knew how long? What? I don't even know what that sentence means. That's okay. Bumblelicious marched back over to him and tugged him back to the floor. Eee! Uh-oh. The Lampir flew into the air, arms wrapped around himself. His eyes darted everywhere, pouting when he noticed Bumblelicious's laughter. Oh my gosh. Her body doubled over, trembling with each laugh. Then she stopped, eyebrows scrunching up. Wait, if you were a germaphobe, you wouldn't have hugged that pillar. He gulped, daring to voice his question. What of the pillar? Or what of the pillar? Bumblelicious pointed at the right side of her face. While nuzzling it, you got dust all over your cheek and hair, not to mention your clothes from hugging it. Twice. Detective Bumblelicious on the case. A deafening screech filled her head. Within a blink, he was gone. Ow! Bumblelicious stumbled to the floor, closing her eyes. End the ringing. The dust was unbearable. Open doors. Run! I need accessible windows. I need fresh air. After reaching the entrance, I leaned. Oh gosh. She couldn't hear, only that dang ringing. So I'm sliding. With each room she peeked in, she could only click her tongue. Groaning or banging her head would only increase the pain. Oh my gosh, that pitch is obnoxious. By the 6th room, her feet faltered, eyes quickly shutting as she tried to ready herself to hit the floor. She fell into a soft, and thankfully that ringing has ended. She fell into a soft blanket, her forehead bumping into a firm chest. Her eyes darted up. The Lampir's lips were moving, and he wasn't wearing his glasses. Can't trust him right now. I don't know. Quick save. I'm just gonna chill. Bumblelicious didn't try to resist him, recognizing the guilt in his eyes. It was most likely he was going to try to apologize, but for all she knew, he was spouting nonsense. His hands were gentle with her body, checking her legs and arms. I feel like an idiot. She knew he didn't mean to abandon her in such a state, but her father's lessons were ingrained in her. Bumblelicious should never trust anyone, not even her own family. Yet she was somewhat tempted to try trusting this eccentric Lampir fawning all over her. No, not yet. I need his name first. I won't trust him yet. Bumblelicious let him pick her up, wrapped up in the warm blanket. It was difficult to look him in the eyes, or anything in particular. The sudden movements he made her head throb again, shutting her eyes at the pain. She expected to feel the world whiz by again, bracing for a pounding headache. She waited and waited, yet nothing. Confused, she cautiously opened her eyes. Bumblelicious clearly saw them passing paintings and other decorations, yet didn't feel the sway of his body. It was only when she looked up that she got her answer. He was flying! Yes! His glasses were on the back of his face, swaying side to side to avoid pillars propped up everywhere in the hallway. Still, though, he flew on, ignoring the times his feet would nick a statue or corner. Maybe I should stop comparing him to those stupid vampire stereotypes. Why? Edward Cullen almost flew. Before she could get lost in her thoughts, Bumblicious was laid across a couch. She recognized the room, spotting the old desktop in the corner. Tea and cookies were still there, probably cold. The blanket remained wrapped around her as the Lampir gently placed a small pillow beneath her head. His mouth was still moving, yet she still couldn't understand what he was trying to tell her. "'Cause he made you deaf." This is his study, so there should be. She spotted a pen and printer paper. Tugging out her arm, Bumblicious pointed to them. Finally, he understood. He went over to the desk where there were a few books laid about, opening a drawer. Taking out a pencil and notebook, the Lampir returned to her side. This is the notepad. "I can't hear. Well, I can't hear you. Only this really annoying ringing." He frowned, getting a pencil of his own to reply to her. "My sincerest apologies. I never would have thought I could have reacted like that back in the ballroom." Her face flushed. Oh, his face. He flushed. He had a blush. There we go. "My first death, during the century when I could only turn into a werewolf. It was no hunter, silver, or rival that brought me down." "Oh God, did you die of disease?" "It was the plague that killed me." "Knew it! I called it!" Kind of. I mean, they kind of led me to it. "I was in my human form, so the mortals never found out my true nature. When I had revived, I awoke in a mass grave. The sight, the smell, everything was unbearable. To wake up covered in blood and bile, surrounded by decomposing corpses. It's an unforgettable memory." The Lampir's hand shook, his pupils constricting. I hope you're not like Ivan and gonna, like, Frankenbride me into some disease-free human. Bumblicious took a deep breath, gently placing her hand upon his. For the first time, she properly looked in his eyes. It seemed to surprise him, and Bumblicious could only blush when he gave her a shy smile. Curiosity bubbled inside of her, turning to an empty page. "So, I'm curious. You're a Lampir and lived for centuries. Why are you suddenly looking for love now, and with humans? I'm not exactly going to be living the rest of eternity with you, if I choose to say yes. I have tried seeing others of my kind. They wouldn't stay long, claiming I am too much of a buffoon for them. Perhaps I was hoping to find a love I saw between two humans long ago. That's the special trait for you humans, the way you strongly show your affections. In our world, living for so long, it's normal for someone to eventually be bored of each other. So, my chickadee, what of you? Is it perhaps you're being forced to otherwise? You'll end up in an arranged marriage?" Bumblicious hardly got a chance to write her reply, the Lampir's hand scribbling at a fast pace. "Hold on. Or maybe you distrust all human males." That would actually be interesting. I mean, I don't not believe it, because she already said she doesn't trust people. That's not... Don't tell me it's because you're fated to die soon and you were hoping to be healed, since we creatures are no... Oh, they know alchemy? Don't make me a Frankenbride. Bumblicious pulled his ear, his face making it obvious it was a bit painful. Slightly aggravated, she turned to another page, slowly releasing his ear. "Listen to me. Can it be so hard to believe I only joined because I wanted to? There's no deep reason. Yeah, others say it's stupid since it's only one date, but I have the right to say yes or no. Besides, they never read the small print. To ensure the pairings are optimal, the couple are given a 6-month time period to plan the wedding together. If at any point in that time period either of the couple wish to call it off, the MCIP will respect their wishes and end the engagement." 6 months? We do not wed tomorrow? You skimmed the contract? Yes. There was a pause, neither of them knowing what to write. Eventually, the Lampir continued. "I have something that'll return your hearing. After living for a couple centuries, you learn some alchemy here and there." With his usual grace, he took her hand and placed a soft kiss. Then he vanished in his usual blur. Bumblicious brought her hand to her face. wishing her blush would go away. The Lampir wasn't gone for long, 10 minutes at the most. He treated her like a doll, bringing a cup to her lips. Bumblicious tried not to gag at the smell, gulping it down all at once. I'm sure he just gave us something super weird. She was grateful when he gave her an apple, desperately biting into it. By the time she finished it off, her eyelids were heavy. Her vision started to get blurry. Oh God, don't kill me. She was barely able to make out what the Lampir was writing. One of the effects is sleep. By the time you awaken, your hearing shall be restored. I'll have you rest here in the study, where it's clean. When you wake up, just ring the bell nearby. Our hour's gonna go away so fast. Bumblicious couldn't even yawn, dropping off into a pleasant dream. Her arms flew out, squeaking as she fell onto the floor. The blanket softened the impact, but it couldn't prevent her head bumping into the table leg. Bumblicious grumbled, slapping her hand onto the coffee table to feel around for the bell. She gave it a ring. Oh, yes, his outfit is so fabulous. What is with all these things? By the time she sat herself up, the Lampir appeared before her. He had propped a foot onto a footstool, eyes closed as he reached his hand to the ceiling, palm upward. The rubber gloves, boots, bandana, and apron burned into her retinas. Your caretaker is here, my chickadee. Please won't you fill my ears with your sweet song? He is kind of a buffoon, but I kind of admire it. I'm on the floor, and you look ridiculous in your frog outfit. And I thought you wanted us to work on this cleaning project together as a couple. 1 second he was still posing, the next he was on the floor in front of her, holding her hands. His eyes sparkled, radiating pure happiness. What? You mean to say you were truly considering restoring the mansion together with me? Like those newlyweds who go out to stores to pick out paints, patterns, argue over furniture placement, and make up with lots of cuddling? If! This is something we both have to consent to, and it's probably something we should talk about later. If we both agree to this match. I don't know. Do you even like this man, Bumblicious? I think he's kind of funny, but whatever. She held in her snort while he was about to flip his hair and froze at the sight of the glove. He hastily slipped off the gloves, undoing the bandana and apron. They fell to the floor around him, easily forgotten. The boots, however, remained on. Curiously enough, his outfit was the exact same as the clothes he was wearing before she fell asleep. Either he has duplicate clothes, or I was out long enough for him to get them washed and dried. As expected, he flipped his hair, his eyes meeting with hers. Why would you not agree? Surely if we had gone out to the town, the little sparrows would swoon over my golden locks. You are like a very white blonde in your normal face, but the little other things make you look more blondie. It takes more than blonde hair to get a girl's attention. Oh, but mine are far more radiant than even the sun itself. When I walk out with the moon shining upon me, it glitters brighter than even those minuscule stars. But you can only go out at night. How would you know it's my time before I was reborn? My sun affliction only came to be after my death. He is so lucky he came to at nighttime. Otherwise, I mean, lucky, relative term. But otherwise, if it was during the day, he would not have been a happy camper. Right. She started to get up, the Lampir's hands holding her in place. I'm okay now, you know. I don't need to be picked up or anything. Truly, though, your voice is far sweeter than any other, my little chickadee. You still barely know me. Heck, I didn't even get to hear much about you. You really should pace yourself. You might be sweet on me now until you discover... Why are you so intent on keeping your mask? I'm not wearing a mask, I'm just using common sense. He only sighed, grip tightening on her shoulders. Bumblicious wanted to shrug them off, feeling uncomfortable with his stare. True, his glasses were still on, but she knew a vampire could charm anyone with eye contact. She couldn't afford that. There was still no trust between them. Chickadee, will you not let me into your heart? She kept her mouth shut, chewing her lip. Then he started to lean in. Don't bite me. His face drew closer and closer. I don't know what to do. I'll just let him go for it. Did he eat me? She slowly shut her eyes, ignoring how her heart sped up. She wasn't falling for his non-existent charm, only curious. He won't bite me. He had the chance when he was asleep. Or when I was asleep. Maybe I can... Bumblicious swore she could feel his breath on her face. He was almost there. Any second he could easily claim her lips. But he never came any closer. Did I get the wrong idea? Embarrassed, she quickly opened her eyes. Her eyes. Her eyes, startling both of them as Sixte? Is that his name? Quickly stood back up. Oh my gosh, that scared me. He was amused at her reaction, closing the distance. Oh, he kissed my cheek. See, I've learned a lot from our mermaid encounter. Bumblicious felt a soft kiss on her forehead, stunned. The look in his eyes made her want to retreat underneath the blanket like a small child. I won't force myself on you. When our lips finally meet, it shall be when you confess your undying love for me. She expected him to pose or flick his hair. Instead, he took her hair into his hands. And even I must admit, as gorgeous a man I am, I would remove my locks if only I could feel the softness of your hair every morning. Oh my gosh, you are a romantic. Oh my gosh, why does he have to be dressed like that? It isn't fair. Bumblicious would never admit that for a moment she considered making her decision right then. But she couldn't forget. She had to learn his name. Well, I accidentally learned it through the script. He may speak sweet words of affection and try to endear himself to her, but she knew that she didn't earn an iota of his trust. He was still judging her, deciding whether she would be his meal or his companion. She wasn't ignorant. Lampir was still a vampire. For all she knew, his idiocy was all an act to put her off guard, to reveal her name. No, I'm not going to fall for it. This is all a lie. All of it. Come, let me show you. Show me what? There was a flash of something in his eyes. The world from my viewpoint. Don't turn me, please. Once again, he pulled her into his arms. Again with the princess style. Would you prefer your legs dangling, my chickadee? Yes? No, I have no idea. Fine, but I really would appreciate it if you gave me a heads up. This is what, 4, 5 times now you've carried me? On the first date. The Lampir chuckled, Bumblicious feeling his chest vibrate. He walked to the lone curtain in the study, pulling it open. It was night. I was out for that long? The Lampir unclasped the lock, pushing the window open. Then he jumped. Bumblicious couldn't help gripping onto him, stomach flopping as he took into the air. Higher he flew, the sting of cold air giving her goosebumps. The Lampir went beyond the mansion, gliding over the town she lived in. She heard him greeting other creatures that were up in the air as well. Faintly, she also heard snickers as they passed the creatures. Bumblicious burst out laughing, making the Lampir pout. What? Was I not amiable enough to my fellow neighbors? You're still wearing the frog boots. His red face only made it worse. Bumblicious was howling with wild laughter. I mean, maybe she'll be good for him and just be like, yo, you need to calm down and, like, wear whatever you like. If he likes frog boots, Bumblicious, you let him wear frog boots. She beat her hand against his chest, unable to stop herself. He was far too embarrassed to ask her to stop, staring straight ahead as he continued gliding. It took some time for her guffaws to subside, still giggling as she stopped hitting him. Her eyes drifted up to his face, wanting to see if he was still pouting. Oh, so she's upset that she kind of likes him. It was as if nature was against her, the moon perfectly placed so its light would make her hair glitter around, or make his hair glitter around him. Either that or I'm seeing things. Hair doesn't sparkle. Still, it would make any teen swoon. She could admit that much. Oh yeah, vampires and teenagers. I went through that phase, / am still living it. Klaus Michelson is so beautiful. Damon is too, but I'm like, oh, do you guys watch The Vampire Diaries? I don't know. Anyway, glad he couldn't see her pink cheeks, Bumblicious looked down below at her hometown. Beautiful, is it not? Are you trying to butter me up? I'm sure the countryside or even city would look far more eye-catching. Oh-ho, trying not to act biased based on your home. It's pure fact. Sure, we live next to an ocean, but it's not as if It was the sight from up here that made me decide to make this town my home a century ago. Oh my gosh, that's so cute! Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Lampir Face. You may believe it's not as bountiful in nature, or lively as a city. But that night, in my eyes, it glowed brighter than even myself. He removed his glasses, giving it to her. Oh no, do not charm me with your face. These lenses, they are simple glass with slight scratches. I only wish to see the most wondrous of things. Everything else can remain with their blights and unsightly stains. Not to interrupt, but blight is a plant disease. The Lampir paused, eerily levitating in place. It is? Yep, I'll just pretend you meant tarnished or something. My chickadee, surely by now you can see that I truly wish to pamper you, cherish you. Stop it. Wait, there's something I need to tell you. When we were writing in the book, I sorta lied. The Lampir stared at her, eyes unblinking. You lied? Yeah, I did sorta do this of my own volition. But only because I was tired of my friends making fun of me. They had all sorts of boyfriends, always bragging if the guys were mythical creatures. Date, but only the agency allows it. Only for marriage. Doesn't stop anyone from casually dating. And I've read that they can make requests to be paired in the program. Anyway, I'm getting off point. I'm sorry. You revealed a big part of your past and I wrote, yes. That isn't fair for you. If you want to end this, I understand. And I did look at your computer. I'm sorry for invading your privacy too. Oh my gosh, he's gonna just rip our head off and let us dangle. As he shook his head, a gentle look in his eyes. I could tell when you had been lying. I was waiting to see if you would reveal yourself. This music made me so uncomfortable. His face drew close, eyes drawn to hers. Yes, it is you. With you, the loneliness fades away. Oh no, here comes the cheese. Gotta stay strong before he hooks me. Your remaining years, I will remain by your side. Even after your passing, I would never look for another. Even if we never have younglings, I would be content, if only to have you by my side. This corny romantic sap isn't going to win me over. His face was leaning close again. Bumblicious tried to force her head back. Yeah, I don't know if that stuff would be considered romantic or not. I don't know. I won't turn you. No, you will remain as my chickadee. You humans view your short lives as precious, and I won't bring you the pain of watching others perish while you remain young. She felt his arms positioning her closer, seeing a glint from a fang poking out as it slowly grew. Oh no. The Lampir's eyes locked with hers, Bumblicious unable to struggle. They were high up in the air. One wrong move and she'd plummet to the ground. This seems like a good place to save. Just submit and allow yourself to be caged, my chickadee. What do I do? Close my eyes. Bumblicious kept a firm grip on his clothes because I don't want him to charm me that way. Trusting him to keep her safe, for a moment she thought she felt his breath on her face. Oh, yay! Instead, I must have picked something good because it's happy music. Man, my heart in my chest is crazy right now. Instead, she felt his lips brush against her shell. Her ear shell? His voice was soft and gentle, almost afraid. My name. It is Sexty. Sexty? I don't even know. It sounds like sexty. Sexy boy. She opened her eyes, her heart beating wildly. He trusted her. Pops will probably be furious at what I'm about to do. I'll worry about him later. I'm Bumblicious. My pops thought of it. Made my mom pretty annoyed. Sexty's eyes sparkled, swirling the two of them around in the air as he shouted with glee. Look upon me, world! Be envious I have found my moon goddess! The keeper of my heart, my sweet little chickadee! Hey, don't be announcing it to everyone! My mom would be pissed if our neighbors found out before she did. Your mother. Would she approve of me? Bumblicious pretended to think, hiding her smile as he started panicking about what clothes to wear. and what pose he should make when she opens the door. Wait, you were deciding how to pose yourself? I had to impress you somehow. As much as I loathe to admit it, my gorgeous looks don't attract attention simply by standing around. I have to add flair, stand out, and make the world notice me. I kind of like this guy, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, would I want to marry him? No, but whatever. Save that posing for when I'm on solid ground. Oh, do not worry, my moon goddess. Nothing could tear you from my grasp. If you would be so kind, could you return my glasses? Why? You said you don't need them to see. 6 Days shyly looked away, a blush spreading to his neck. Your beauty, with the moon shimmering its brilliant light onto your ebony locks. It blinds me. I think I just like him because it's fun to read his lines. Bumblelicious's hand instinctively went to her curly hair, somewhat self-conscious about it. It was flattering when he had kissed it earlier in the study. This poofy hair of mine, your eyes must. Truly, Bumbleicious, you humans always fret about your looks. Try as you might, none will ever look half as beautiful as myself. Gee, thanks. 6 Day had been gliding lower, stopping upon a cliff. He kept them a safe distance from the edge, tilting her face to him. I don't think we're the same girl. I think we're somebody different. I'm guessing she's going to be of dark skin, but I don't know for sure. I mean, the other lady was of dark skin too. But to me, you shine far brighter than I could ever hope. Your eyes, they are what drew me to you the moment we met. They reminded me of a young girl during the time of the plague. She had gotten sick like the others. Still, she remained strong and determined. Every morning, she would plaster on a smile and clean herself, sweeping the floors of the bakery her beloved owned. The girl had a lovely glow about her. Is this your former girlfriend? Did you turn her? Because that would be annoying. If you have another girl in your house, what is that story? Jane something? That girl had a lovely glow about her to see her beloved break down once she passed. It left a strong impression on me. I left her beloved a note the next night with instructions. I took her body out of the mass grave. She deserved better than to be thrown in there. I was pleased to see he visited the grave I created for her, and once he passed I buried him there too. Wait, so were you in love with this baker girl or what? He shook his head, chuckling. Far from it. More like longing. I wanted someone with such passionate eyes to be with me, too. Someone to be buried with me when the time comes eventually. What? When the time comes, not right away. That is right. Man. Look how cute we are. I told you. How cute and precious are we? Oh my gosh, you are so adorable. 6 Days swept her into his arms, carrying her like a bride. Anyway, to think I would be paired with someone like you, and you did not turn away my touch even after hurting you. How long are you going to keep spouting this sappy stuff? Does it not please you? I gave you my name. That means I agreed to this, so just kiss me already. I can kiss you? Why are you acting so shy now? Oh my gosh, that's very true. I must meet your parents first. As much as I wish for our lips to finally meet, it is only proper that I tell them my intentions. 6 Day! I had a good ending! Yes, reviewing the case. He has shape-shifting and hypnotism abilities. He practices stuff. Oh, strong bipolar symptoms. Pairing result. Yes, recorded kills 74. You killed 74 girls before me? Whoa, excuse me. Well, I liked that, and that because I learned from Mr. Mermaid Face, who... I feel like the opposite things happened. So, like, in this one, you know, if I thought he was doing something evil, he was doing something nice. And, like, my reaction should be consistently kind, and then I would not be killed, as opposed to self-preservation. Whereas in the Mermaid one, it was like, oh, if you're generally nice, he will still eat your face. You just have to, like, be relatively respectful and then not say anything at the end. But yeah, rude. Okay, let's see if we can go die a couple more times. Or if you are happy with this ending, then I hope you stay sweet, and I'll see you on the next episode, where hopefully we can get the twins. Trying to get you guys this time. Or it's a dragon, so I don't know if it's actually a twin, but they look like twins. Anyway, on to the death scenes. Alright, let's push him away. He frowned, a tinge of sadness flashing in his eyes. She felt a flash of guilt. Okay. So if he is like this with dust, that's ridiculous. She wondered if she knew she couldn't hear. Uh-oh. He had a blanket in his hands. And now I can be picked up again? Oh, he's just sad. So it's not horrible. So maybe you can just turn your head away? Ooh, soon enough. He released his grip on his shoulders and he's twitching. Ah, I understand. I apologize for making you uncomfortable. Was he really about to kiss me? Is nothing I do enough for your affections? I honestly am trying. Sorry, but you're being a bit forward. He chuckled dryly, shaking his head. Bumblicious felt a soft kiss on her forehead. Oh! Yay! Happiness, happiness, happiness! I just won't do anything. Let's see what happens. Don't push his face away, that's so mean. Bumblicious' eyes glazed over, completely entranced. There we go. I told you we'd be hypnotized. You belong to me. Only me. This is creepy music. They did a great job with that part. Only you. When I wish to feed upon you, you will not resist me. She faintly nodded. No other male can glance at you. What? What? What is with these jealous freakazoids? You are to remain with me for eternity. I shall keep your soul somewhere safe while your body is displayed. What? What? What does it even mean? I will find other bodies for your soul to inhabit. It's an easy task. All I need is your name. My name? Yes. Oh god. Oh god, this is gonna haunt my dreams forever. His eyes bore into hers, not breaking contact. You wish to live forever by my side as a human, do you not? I promise not to change you, so this is the only way to stay by my side. Pledge me your soul. Tell me your name. Oh god. My name is Bumblicious. What a pretty name. I will enjoy hearing it on my lips for the next few decades. Do not worry, my chickadee. The MCIP will never find us. It is only you and I. For eternity. Always. Oh good. He just bit me. That was a gross sound. Alright, the subject has gone rogue. If applicant is found alive, MCVR, I don't even know what that is, will be contacted ASAP. Applicant is declared dead. Oh good. Do not report applicant missing. If the body is found, contact the ECC so they can remove all traces of her. Superiors have voted to have all other subjects with classification LS be eradicated immediately. Oh. What? What is LS? Is that Lampirs? So they're not allowed to be part of the mythical creatures thing? Do not allow other mythical creatures to discover the existence of any MCEE members. If there is a discovery, silence them and report to higher-ups. And moving on to the next assignment. Oh, so we can assign them to other classifications. Meeting is adjourned. Worst ending. I don't think that's the worst ending. I mean, we didn't die, technically. We're just kind of brainwashed. Kick him and run. He snarled in outrage. Ooh. Yeah, we're running, and that's bad. What did I even do wrong? He's the one who made me like this. She rolled onto her back, body aching. Her head felt as if it would burst any moment. Oh, he's mad. I can't understand anything. He's just angry. He's reaching out for her. This is all your fault. I might not be able to hear, but I can still talk, you jerkface. Oh, good. He grabbed her feet, bending back one of her toes until she swore it broke. What? There was pain, and he's dragging her. Oh, the wristband. Help me, help me, help me. She desperately pressed the button as she lost sight of the hallway. Someone please help me. Oh dear, he broke my fingers. That's not good. Uh-oh, and she's calling for her dad. And we died. Yep, that was good. Good times. Glad we enjoyed that together. Let's push his face away. Pressing his face hard. Stop trying to manipulate me. She didn't feel the glass digging into her hands or hear how he cried out. Uh-oh. All Bumblicious felt was her body slipping from his grip, her hair whipping her face. Lampir was holding his hands to his face, shrieking in pain. It took time for her to register the embedded shards in her hand with the broken frame. Uh-oh, did I kill him? I didn't get a chance to scream out. Did I get squished? So my wristband stopped responding. Was a failure. Remove all traces I existed. Assign next applicant. Rude. What happens if we slap him when he tries to kiss us? Yeah. Okay, we'll just push him away for now. And then if we slap him, what's gonna happen? Boom! Ooh, anger and disappointment. I'm sorry, but even with that little heart-to-heart moment, I barely know anything about you. Lampir scoffed, glaring at her. Showing your true colors, I see. Ungrateful little girl. What? But I just said. Did you believe I would take advantage of you? Her face turned red, trying to shrug off his hands, but his grip on her shoulders tightened painfully, not allowing her to slip away. You're hurting me. Please let go. I admit my mistake while in the ballroom. I even use rare ingredients to create a potion to return hearing to you. And you spur my affection? Bumblicious chewed her lip, feeling very uncomfortable. I said I was sorry. Look, it's barely been a few hours, and we barely know anything about each other. Yeah, there's a possible 6 months, but I have to have some pride. How much longer are you going to make excuses? Did you see playing with my affections as a game? Do you have a succubus as a friend? Have you seen my Seduce Me series? I am aware that they enjoy dating daring human females to tease us creatures. Will you just listen? You will listen to me, little girl. Bumblicious flinched, hand sneaking into the wristband. She shrieked when his hand gripped it, screeching as he bent it slowly backwards. I abhor succubi. Thanks to them, many creatures who entered the program, such as I, would end up with females who only came here to prove a point. Treating us like a trophy, tossing us aside. What does that even mean? What would we do? Have you been assigned succubi? And then you sleep with them, and then they're like, yeah, I'm done. And then you're like, good day. Bumblelicious's insides churned, eyes darting down. His hand had paused from bending hers, the air still. I knew it. You're just like the others. I didn't mean to play with your feelings. I was just tired of being made fun of, and... Enough! I am not going to take part of your stupid games! Oh, you snapped my hand. Thank you. I'm sorry. You're a jerk. Uh-oh. He twisted the broken hand, his fangs poking out. Dear little cuckoo bird, you just lost. Oh, yay. I am dead again. Well, I didn't learn as much about the thing from the other things. Did you understand what I just meant from the MCIP or whatever it's called? So next time we will have the dragon twin freaks of love. You know what? The vampire was not so bad, as long as, you know, he didn't break all of my fingers and toes. I don't know. Who was the more vicious of the two? I guess we'll have to date them all to see, but please do like and comment. You know that does make my day, and I kind of enjoy seeing how you respond to these things. So, hope you have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Adios.